All right, we're going to look at ratios and determining if they are proportional, meaning are they equivalent? Are they the same? And we're going to look at that today using cross products. So our first example is 8/5 and 24/20. The first thing you need to ask yourself is, are these two ratios in fraction form? So are my ratios in fraction form? And if they are, then you can go ahead and get started. So you can set your fractions equal to one another. I would put a question mark across it because you're not sure. That's what we're checking. And the nice thing about cross products is it is that simple. You can cross multiply and get the product. So we multiply the denominator of one fraction with the numerator of the other fraction. So 5 times 24 I get is 120. And we multiply the denominator of the other fraction with the numerator of the remaining fraction, and we get 8 times 20 is 160. So this was 5 times 24 equaled 120, and this was 8 times 20 equaled 160. If these two numbers are the same, they are indeed equivalent, but 120 does not equal 160, so they are not proportional. And look at our next example of 0.5 to 10 and 5 to 100. These are not in fraction form, so the first thing you need to do is write them in fraction form. Remember our question from above, are my ratios in fraction form? These are not. So we're going to take our first number and it goes in the top of the fraction. We're going to take our second number and it goes in the bottom. So we have 0.5 over 10 and 5 over 100. Set them equal to one another and use your cross products. So 100 times 0.5 should equal 50, and 10 times 5 should also equal 50, and since they are the same number, they are indeed 50 does equal 50. Yay, so they are proportional. Now this question is very similar to one you're going to see on your assessment and where they use the colons. So we're going to do some more practice of that one in a minute. Our last example is where they use the word 2. And again, if they're not in fraction form, you need to set them in fraction form. So 1.3 over 5.2 and 12 over 48. Set them equal to one another. And go ahead and cross multiply. I can't do that off the top of my head, so I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator. 48 times 1.3 equals 62.4, and 5.2 times 12 equals 62.4. So 62.4 does in fact equal 62.4. They are proportional. I'm going to go ahead and give you two examples to try. 70 colon 60 and 6 colon 7. It's your first example. And second example is going to be 0.3 colon 2 and 0.03 colon 20. All right, so spend a minute checking those. It's kind of hard to read. Sorry about that. Go ahead and check those examples while. Remember our question, always making sure that they are in fraction form for cross product proportions. You should have 70 over 60 and 6 over 7. When you do your cross products, 7 times 70 and 6 times 60, you should know is not proportional. Reminder, the first number in a colon always goes to the top of the fraction. The number that comes first is the top, whether there's a colon here or the words 2. Go ahead and work on the second example. So your two fractions should be 0.3 over 2 and 0.03 over 20. If you cross multiply, you'll see that those are also not proportional. All right.